Buddy, unplanned live stream. If you missed this, you can definitely catch it on the replay. I gotta get my hair redone for real. So yesterday I was gonna do a live stream, but I opted to just go to bed early and get my beauty sleep. I was tired. I was very tired yesterday. So I'll do my live stream later on too because I want to touch on a topic. But I was catching my news this morning and I actually saw it yesterday. But I just, like I said, I will prioritize my sleep before even this. So, good morning to you, Brian. But I was looking at some bloggers yesterday talking about the fact that the rapper Drake is suing his record label, and he's suing them basically for it sounds like, in a nutshell for me, artificially propping Kendrick Lamar's song Not Like Us. Now, mind you, that was a banger. But I will say, for a Kendrick Lamar song, that song was everywhere, any and everywhere. It was kind of like Drake's songs, really. I mean, Drake would drop a single and it would just be mediocre, yet the song would be everywhere. And I think Drake is doing two things here that's going to hurt him even more. Um, Number one, Drake is acknowledging that his career, for the most part, all those things that people thought about Drake, him being overrated, him being propped in the hip hop industry, all all those things that people thought, Drake is basically validating. He's basically telling us through this lawsuit that his career has benefited from artificially propping his music by the label. What's going on, Wild Archery? I see you. So, you know, for example, Drake came out his last album, For All the Dogs. I listened to the entire album. I don't really like to critique people's albums, right? No, I didn't. Let me stop. I listened to majority of the album. I couldn't make it through the entire album because it sucked that bad. Drake's last album was awful. It was a horrible album. And what I couldn't understand is how the hell was it charting the way that it was? Like, Drake delivered a bag of garbage, and he's done this a couple of times. And for some reason, his bag of garbage delivered is literally propped as gold. So Drake is telling us why that is. That, through his sort of, to me, sore loser, you know, behavior here, he's telling us that Not Like Us was artificially propped to basically destroy, which resulted in his career being destroyed, right? And what is UMG saying? What is the record label saying? The suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. That they just playing a victim card on this because they know the writing is on the wall, and a lot of people can observe that particular statement as being not true on so many different levels. We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaign. That is very subjective, UMG. Absolutely subjective. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre action submission can mass affect that fans chose the music they want to hear. So they're basically telling, UMG is basically saying, Drake's music was not as dynamic as Kendrick Lamar's. Basically, Kendrick Lamar entered this friendly fade, and he basically faded Drake out the game. And again, Drake has really existed in the hip hop space with a lot of privilege. All right. He's had a lot of privilege in the hip hop space. But bottom line is, and I will say it until the cows come home, there is these streams and these manipulatable ways in which you can prop an artist, right? And then there is the pure sales of the artist. What do the pure sales look like? And I bet you if you looked at the pure sales of some of your favorite artists, you'll see that even independent artists are coming close to their sales because really people don't like their music. They're just pretending like they do by artificially propping these people music with all these social media bots. And this is basically what Drake is revealing through this lawsuit, that these record labels, they artificially prop their artists. And of course, a label like UMG is going to have to get on the mic and rebut that really quickly because they don't want people to see how some of them really do manipulate the public into believing that an artist is hotter than what they really are. They put all those female rappers on Nicki Minaj. They put all those female rappers on Nicki Minaj to take that woman out of the game, coordinating against this woman. Even her own damn record label, people have felt like mess with her distribution. And that's another thing. Kendrick and Drake, they're the same distributor. So, it kind of goes back to that whole Diddy lawsuit with that alcohol company, right? If somebody owns your distribution, they really pretty much own your money. They own your money. Whoever owns your distribution, they own how you are going to be able to sell, how profitable you will be able to be, because you're beholden to the distributors on so many different levels. Here's the thing. Drake got some bangers, but Drake has had a machine ensuring that he had a successful career. Again, Drake doesn't own himself, right? Like he literally signed a 360 deal, and anybody knows anything about those 360 deals, you don't own yourself. The reason why they give a lot of these artists who choose to have some level of independence, they give them so much issues at the distribution level is because they're not owning them. And if they're not owning you, they don't have a priority of circulating your work, whether it's good or not. They will prop a bag of garbage to the public and make the public believe that a bag of garbage is actually legitimate good artists. And a lot of these people are shelf life artists. A lot of these people are shelf life artists. Matter of fact, I think the music industry is afraid of icons. They're afraid of making icons these days because some point these icons are going to get like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and Prince, and they're going to have star power and distribution power without these machines that want to own them. And that's what really the music industry is afraid of. So I'm gonna say that number one, Kendrick won that rat beef. Let's just be really honest here. Drake needed a whole lot of help to make sure that he was even contending in that rap beef, because I don't believe that Drake writes his own stuff all the time at all. He's even admitted to having ghostwriters. And not to say that Drake can't write. I just don't think that the evolution of Drake lost his writing power, right? Because you had too many, people, basically telling Drake basically how to be in his career. And that's why, real people know that the most organic you're ever going to get an artist is before they are signed to a record label. The best music you're ever going to get from an artist is going to be before they are signed to a record label. Because after that, they pretty much are owned by a machine that is constantly telling them what to prop out to people. Right? Y'all don't think it's any coincidence that all of the rap hoes are exactly the same type of chick? They are being told to be that type of chick. That's why I said the most organic you're ever going to get an artist is before the industry machine gets to that artist and basically turn them out. You know, icons talk too much and the machine doesn't want that. That's true. And in the age of social media, It's way more convenient for these artists to get on the mic and start lamenting about this and that, right? Back in the day before all of this, really they needed a media platform to actually give them a platform to air out their grievances about their labels. It's not like that today. It's not like that today. We live in the age of social media. So these record labels, they're really looking at the risk of their artists, spouting some truth that defames the label or causes them to have issues. A lot of these record labels are losing money because they keep propping shelf life artists. They keep dismissing and being fearful of the organically good artists who don't want them to own them. So the trade off is kind of weird to me, but Drake is telling us everything that we need to know. Some of these artists who, oh, they keep getting this award and that award and they have this many awards and that, they're telling you how these things are playing out. Like, I'm not even impressed with an artist that wins a Grammy award anymore, because when I look at how they're snubbing organically good artists just so they can artificially prop up this bogus ass artist above an organically good artist by slinging a Grammy their way and saying, hey, well, they have a Grammy. Fuck a Grammy. Like, to me, that is not it. We need another award that actually has true value to music, because that ain't it. That ain't it. What's going on, Russia? We see you, Privet. Audrey in the wheelchair for I really don't know what that is. Let them all keep their clown pedo awards. That's what I'm saying. Nobody should want that trash. I said it yesterday. You shouldn't want to be famous. You shouldn't want your kids to be famous, because we are already seeing what it is in a lot of those circles. Michael Jackson and Prince came close to owning their own records companies. That's what the industry is afraid of these days. I believe it. It was just like Bill Cosby trying to own a major network. And you see what they did to that brother. They started grave digging and, doing everything they could to put Bill Cosby in jail for some shit that happened decades ago. And that's still, I'm like, what happened to the statutes of limitation? Does that not apply when it's a black man on the chopping block? But anyways, we need to teach our kids to stop looking up to these rich slobs. Yeah, there's many of them are Satanists. I mean, I think if anything that we've seen, over the years, if you're really paying attention, a lot of these people truly are Satanists. They have been engaged in different little satanic rituals and practices, all for the sake of maintaining their career. I mean, and you start looking at how some of this Diddy stuff is unfolding, you get to see how Ray J is talking, right? Ray J, just how he's narrating himself, it leads you to believe that not only was Ray J groomed in that machine, but Ray J is also an operative in that machine, right? And, you know, what's her name? Stunner Girl. She called Ray J out for being a drug dealer, allegedly, to Whitney Houston and Wendy Williams, getting them on that junk, you know? So, obviously they need people under control, and nothing helps them to control a lot of these artists like substance abuses and different little anti-anxiety pills that they just happen to get hooked on and messes up their brains. Ray J is an agent. That's why he's so connected. Oh, I mean, I believe it. I believe it. It's so funny because Impressive Channel, like I said, she did a blog and she was talking about how every time somebody is speaking up about the music industry, being vocal about something that they know or some suspicions and stuff like that, all of a sudden, he's coming out, Ray J coming out talking about he got deals, he got connections, he got this. And it's just kind of suspect, and it really opens your eyes to these networks of Satanism and how they work within some of these industries. And again, I'm going to do that video and we're going to break down this woman's experience being child trafficked in elite circles from the age of 5. Her mother introduced her to that lifestyle. And the only reason why she was able to survive is because when they gave her a blood test, right, She ended up being the bloodline of some royalty, right? So she wasn't deemed an expendable kid. But she said that she had seen a lot of expendable kids and they were murdered in some of these satanic ritualistic networks of people who empower themselves by harming the weak. So we got a lot of crazy satanic people in the world today. I think there's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of people, it's hard for them to even reason in their brain that this stuff is going on. But the predictive programming a lot of times will tell you that these things are going on, but they want you to believe it's fiction. That's how the devil manipulates. But there's so much manipulation going on in these industries across sectors. I just think that it's very interesting that Drake is at least giving us another layer of these manipulations, which I have observed all the time. I love music. I love music. I love organically good artists. I like people who are really good at their craft and their art. They have propped up all these shelf life wannabe hopeful people as organically good artists. And a lot of times I think that this younger public, the newer generation, they really have been robbed of an opportunity to actually experience real, organic, thought out music. And there's only very few artists that are really doing that these days. And regardless of if you like her music or not, Nicki Minaj will always get her flowers. One thing I can say about a Nicki Minaj is you listen to a Pink Friday 2, you're getting a lot of variety in that album. And it came out last year, but I was very impressed with the variety and the diversity and the range of Nicki Minaj. And that's always been a notable point for her as an artist. You know what I mean? It's just like Nas. Nas is an organically good artist. Why? Because he's not really working with a lot of ghostwriters. He can organically talk about life from an experiential lens. And that's why Nas has always been a dynamic lyricist. There are a lot of organically good artists out there, but they're being suppressed. I mean, and it's always been that conversation too, when you got brothers like Common and Most Def. Don't Most Def go by another name now? But you got brothers like I've always recognized that these brothers never got their flowers. They've always propped these gangster street neat growths above brothers who are more conscious, right, by design. So black people, black America, we in these spaces, a lot of times we got to go search for the conscious stuff. You really got to get the best music on the underground. Your best music in black space is not signed. They're not signed. The best music in black culture is the music that you don't see all the time. It's the artists you don't see all the time. It's the artists that are not being propped because they're operating on an artistic method and style and consciousness that the music industry rejects. They don't want that. That's why music sucks. Music sucks. I don't care who your favorite artist is these days. It sucks. It really does suck. You know? So, anyways, you guys, I just thought that this was very, very interesting that, people are actually talking about this. Drake playing the victim role. Now, he's had his Jewish privilege because Kanye was right about them executives, so that's not anti Semitic. A spade is a spade. Drake has enjoyed Jewish privilege in the hip hop industry, but he's a loss. He wasn't making them money. They needed somebody else because their Wonder Boy was just not it. They could only prop Drake up so much. And even the record labels would have to start stepping back and thinking like, wow, we are working incredibly hard to make the public believe that this individual is the person and the artist that they are. These labels are spending more money propping these artists up to believable status than they are making money off of the organic artistry of these artists. And that's just word 100. So Drake has told us everything that we suspected with this lawsuit. Okay. And that's just what it is. He has told us his whole damn career was artificially propped in many degrees. He even said that UMG employed the same tactics to favor Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us that they have used in the past to prop up his ass. So, again, I stand by it. Drake is so overrated. He's so overrated. And the reason why I believe that Drake is overrated is because he's been overpropped. But I suppose that even that Jewish privilege runs out when you're not making motherfuckers money. And Drake, I don't believe, was really making them money like that in that little Ponzi scheme. And he probably got a little too beside himself, too. You know, it's the takedown season. I truly believe Cat Williams now. Like when he said this was a year of revelation, it truly is a year of revelation if you're paying attention, if you're conscious, and if you know how all these little moving parts are working. It's absolutely the year of revelation. Let me jump into some of these comments, and I gotta jump off. It's 9 o'clock Eastern time. My business operations are 9 o'clock Central, so I'm like an hour behind my wife. My business operations. Stop that. All right. So what's going on, Ghetto Planet? Show some love to my ma. Good morning. Good morning. You said Ja Rule didn't sue 50. Nah, Drake is hurting. Like that rap beef that hurt him. It's no doubt. I mean, Drake can't even drop without people looking at him as a flop. You know what I mean? And it seems as though all of that little propping package that he got, that payola package that Drake was enjoying, I think a lot of that stuff ran dry for Drake. And now he actually has to be an organic artist without this artificial propping. And he's hurting. He's hurting. Kendrick ethered him. Kendrick did ether him. All right. And it was just, a lot of that back and forth between them it was just so rapid with all of the music dropping. You would have thought that was coordinated. Like, I'm like, dang, y'all just, he dropped something. Let me listen to what he's saying. Blah, 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 blah. I got the beats and everything on lock to just respond within hours. Like, I mean, it was a great exhibition of organic artistry at best, at least on Kendrick's part. If they were just writing like that, that was a great little friendly fade. I mean, I enjoyed that on so many different levels. And it wasn't just about the music. It was about an exhibition of true artistry, right? I truly believe that Kendrick wrote everything or maybe it was just who knows, right? But Kendrick is being propped as the Black Jesus. I don't think that brother is Jesus. You're not the Messiah. He's doing too much trying to even act like the Messiah to me. He's giving apostate. So we gonna watch you, Kendrick Lamar, and your little apostasy, right? Because you just like little crazy Kanye. You're giving crazy Kanye, Kendrick. You better leave Messiah alone. You are a fleshly man. All right, Drake decided to turn fully Jewish to file this lawsuit. This is the unmasking of hip hop needed. The unmasking hip hop needed. Drake, baby. Drake basically understood that all them brothers that he thought that he was above, he was not. He was not. And I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, I think it really hurt Drake's feeling that Future turned on him. And I'm still trying to figure out, what did Drake do to Future? What did he do to Future? Because Future, literally, that was like what I was not expecting. I'm like, what did this man do to him? Did he sleep with his girl? And I know these dudes ain't breaking friendship over these hoes because they all running through the same broads. So it can't be because of these hoes. It's kind of weird. Michael and Prince didn't public their beef. They let the music speak for itself, as it should. As it should. Like, I mean, if you're an artist and you're competing with another artist, the music is always going to speak louder than your words in so many different ways. And a lot of times, but sometimes it's the fan bases that will speak. The fan bases will go hard for their artists, and sometimes people have a better fan base than other people. Like, look at Cardi B. They've been trying to get Cardi B to tap into Nicki Minaj's fan bases since the beginning of her career. All right. They couldn't get really the Barbs to follow suit with Cardi B because they kind of saw the plot with Cardi B. Right now, Cardi B is desperate, and now she's going to Megan Thee Stallion's fan base. They not friends. These hoes are not friends. And I do believe that Cardi is going to try to revive her career through Megan, or Megan's going to try to revive her career, or whatever they're doing with each other. But these artists are just not good. Like, I mean, even with Megan Thee Stallion, I can say that yes, she can rap. She's a decent lyricist, but she has zero range. She has zero range. And Cardi B is just illiterate to me. To me, she's always going to give Make a Wish Foundation rapper to me, because I don't think she's organically a female rapper. I think that she is an influencer at best that happens to like to rap. Those are not the same things. And I hated that they kept pitting Nicki Minaj against these truly beneath her shelf life artists like Cardi B. And this is no shade if you're a fan of hers. She's just not talented. I mean, and I don't want to hear an illiterate rapper sexualizing themselves and attempting to sexualize next generations of young females with their illiteracy. I'm sorry, Cardi B is not the sharpest tool in the shed. Please make sure your daughter does not look at that as a hero. Anyways, MC Light, I mean, you're talking about MC Light. These are more conscious rappers. These are people who were not rapping for what a machine wanted them to say. They were rapping about real life. You know what I mean? Glorilla is actually, I don't know if that's like a trans psyop or not. Glorilla confuses me because something's off about that. But lyrically, rap style, Glorilla is actually pretty decent. And even though Lotto really hurt her career trying to be one of those puppets that ran after Nicki Minaj, Lotto was pretty decent too. But she just needed to diversify her range, and she never got that chance because she wanted to be in that rap girl beef stuff. So I mean, I find that there are like your sprinkled in decent artists, but again, they're not mainstream. They are the best artists, the best music is underground, and it's always been that way. Once these labels get their claws, their talons on these talent, they pretty much lose their everything. They start having to conform to what the labels want them to project. So if they're like, "Oh, you are a great underground rapper, great lyricist, right? We need you to take off your clothes and shake your ass and be that too." Right? And sometimes some of these artists don't even give that they should be shaking their ass. They give that they should just be spitting. Like a lot of like Ice Spice, she has a sex symbol look. They definitely could have marketed her with that Betty Boop, but Ice Spice is not talented. She's not talented. We should have never seen her as a contender in a female hip hop space, and she really just should have been with, what she was like, let her focus on her craft if you guys want her to be a rapper. But they're not interested in the craft. They have literally, you know, infested the craft of hip hop with their debauchery, and what they want to see promoted within black culture. And it's left a lot of the music inorganic, and it's really hurt the culture more than it has. I want to see my black people making money, but I don't want to see black people making money at the expense of demonizing the culture for white supremacists. And that's what a lot of hip hop artists and these artists in the hip hop space have really done. They've really just acted as arms of white supremacists to project shit about black people so that the general public and the world can view black people and black culture in a certain manner. It all plays into the perpetuated stereotypes that they want to foster among populations. Because if you're a white rural man, right? Don't have a bunch of black folks around you. The only thing you know about black folks is what those white supremacists project to you in their media about black folks. It's not until that white rural man actually go out and interact with black people of diverse cultures, backgrounds, that he realized that, oh, not all black women like to run around shaking their asses. Not all black men are criminals. A lot of black men are hard workers. A lot of black women have respect for themselves. But you're not going to know that, right? Because these people are paying those folks to project things about us. And a lot of these, lower value people, they just eat it up like popcorn because in their brain, no matter how ugly, unintelligent, and all those things of value that I lack, I'm still not a black person. That's how some of these people run around thinking, right? And then you got my black ass to remind them how absurd that is. But, anyways, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will catch you on the next one. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you would not disrespect yourself or abuse yourself, do not disrespect or abuse your neighbor. But when your neighbors start disrespecting, get busy with them. You got to rebuke these demons because some people just wake up wanting to play with the children of God. And the Bible has already shown us what happened when people play with the true children of God. It never really works out well for them. All right, so keep your prayers up. Keep your prayers up. And we will talk some more later on, maybe around 7:30. Bye.